getting in the game and they really want to do a good job, because it's a competitive sport for them to see if they can build a tight house.
But I'd like to add to that, though. Your question is a good one because, on this subject, it's so incumbent upon the buyer of the house to educate himself or herself more than normal, because you cannot take anything for granted. You can't take the builder's word that he's going to insulate your house well. You have to ask questions about, well, what kind and how much, and that sort of thing. And you've got to know what that means. Otherwise, you're at the mercy of the builder. And there's not too many that you can trust to have your interests in mind with regard to energy efficiency.
But you folks have an incredible network of people that are conscious about energy, and I think that you're going to find builders, coming around that want to speak to you and work with you. So I think it's just a question of time before you start finding somebody in your neighborhood who's, a great insulator, a great installer of all these systems, and contractors and builders that really want to get a reputation of doing high-performance homes.
And I'm glad to give the recommendations from our experience of building our house. There are certain contractors I would not recommend, and I'll tell you those names if you're interested. But there are definitely certain ones I would highly recommend. And particularly the builder that built our house, and where I was talking about is Dakin Enterprises here in Lonsdale. Kenny Shino and his team, I would recommend highly, personally.
So we need a Craigslist for builders, and homeowners to just sort of like give rating systems for builders and how they perform.
So Nessie, I know that we found our architect, you guys, via Nessie, but Nessie doesn't do that with builders, or are there builders that belong to it? Nessie is the
If you
solar
go
energy
membership, there's a
society.
membership directory.
Yeah.
But membership doesn't mean necessarily.
But one of those websites, zerohomes.org,
Yeah, which kind of website?
they have a reference, like we're listed as architects that design net zero homes, and I think they also have builders. But they're in Oregon, but they've asked, the fellow that runs that website took Mark's course at the same time that we did, so that's why we got connected to him. But he wants to make it a national grid where people in different regions can find builders and insulators and installers that can do that are dedicated. So I think it's a matter, you guys, with your organization should start doing that, to start networking with builders and find people that can do the right thing.
Related question, locally, the Wayne Builders Association, I think it is, or the White County, there are guys who are on that what they say they are is green building certified. And is that kind of like a greening of something that's not really green? I mean, is that
Could be. That's one I hadn't heard of before, so.
Yeah,
certified green builder? I think is what it's called.
right.
Yeah,
So,
I have heard that.
what does that mean? When somebody says that, you think, oh wow, this is the guy I want. So is that really what you may think it is, or is it?
I think it's an attempt to get some kind of certification. I'm not sure. Just as people that do home inspections have to, there's certain organizations that they can become members of. But if it's something you just pay dues on an annual basis to become a member of, and you can use that as a tag, I'm not sure it's performed. So green building certified, is that what you're saying?
Certified green builder.
Certified green builder.
Yeah.
So it may just be
So what? Yeah.
I don't know, I can't answer that, but I just think there is an awful lot of greenwash going on right now. I think you have to be
Everywhere.
careful.
Yeah.
So
I actually had a conversation with one of the builders that was green building certified, and it's a minimum standard. I mean, just like Jim said, you really need to still do your homework. It means they're installing Energy Star appliances in a brand new building and other minor things. It's not, oh great, I've got my net zero home. So.
The other thing, as an architect, I'm just appalled by LEED certification, the bureaucracy that's sprung up by that, because I don't think that they really tie, and I'm not a member of the AIA, so I can say this, but they don't tie energy performance of buildings directly to LEED certification. They have all these things. It has a bike rack and it has a place where you can shower. when you come to work. I mean, they're great, humanistic goals, but they don't really address energy efficiency as one of their primary goals. And I just think that there's a lot of feeling that a LEED building is a high-performance building, and it's not necessarily. It's just a lot of points, and it's a scale that they can use to certify, and all these LEED accredited professionals are meeting all of the requirements. This has to be off the tape. But I'm speaking that it's taken a while for LEED to get to the point where they really get it, that we've got to be building better buildings, and that means more high-performance buildings, not just buildings with a lot of glass and then look really sexy.
Yeah,
The greenwash,
I saw a LEED Gold building have this beautiful vertical front face of PV panels mounted on it. And they got points for that. But they also got great points for landscaping, putting a tree right in front of it. But then the point systems were awarded. No discount, no discounting for the shading.
Right.
So it was just, they were doing it for the points, not for the energy efficiency.
So there's a commissioning process in buildings where you actually say, you specify the building that's going to perform at a certain level, so you specify it's going to be at net zero. Well, commissioning is going back and making sure that it's actually performing at that level years after it's built. And I think with LEED, I think they've got to go back and make sure that they close the loop and make sure that people that think they have high-performance building really do have them, like that Trinity Church in Boston that was spending a lot of money to pump a lot of water around, but weren't getting the efficiency out of the system that they really should have been getting.
Okay, I think we've got to close up, so we were already passed over.
But thank you
so much
for
for coming.